what really gives me the joy is to see people enjoy these costumes on the road, on the stage. That's what really keeps me going to do this thing after. It's a labor of love.
Every carnival has a story, and players have their role. Join us as Power 95 takes you behind the mass. Hear from the festival players, mass band leaders, everyone who makes our greatest show on earth happen. It's Behind the Mass on Power 95.
Compliments Pure Grenada, the spice of the Caribbean, and the team at the Grenada Tourism Authority.
Well, my name is Kelvin Jacob, and I hold a master's degree in Carnival Studies. I am also the founding member and CEO of Ignite Mass Band that was formed in 2017. We took part in Carnival in 2017, 2018. I also worked along with Spice Mass Corporation as the CEO of Spice Mass for 4 years. And I continue to do my work in Carnival, working closely with the traditional aspect of Carnival, working with our traditional mass bands. I also did some work with documenting our intangible cultural heritage, where we look specifically at the Maypole. A group of us look specifically at reviving the Maypole, looking at the history of the Maypole and teaching the Maypole to children in the various schools. Well, the Maypole is a cultural dance, it's a folk dance. We see a lot of it around Carnival time more so. It originates from Europe, and it's a fertility dance. It's a dance of celebration, fertility. We see it a lot around the month of May. In Grenada, so far, we see it mostly around Carnival time and during the cultural celebrations in the various communities. Nowadays, we do not see much of it around Carnival time. The Maypole now, I know we have maybe about 2 groups in St. David and in Carriacou. But previously, we used to have a lot of groups in St. David. We had a group out of Belle Isle in St. David, Windsor Forest, and also Rocane were the key villages for the Maypole in St. David. Carnival, I've been in Carnival for over 20 years. I started off, first of all, looking at Carnival, going with my parents to various Carnival activities. And when I became a teacher back in 1991, we started our first Carnival frolic at the St. Joseph's RC School. So that's when I really started my involvement in Carnival. So we actually had a full Carnival at the St. Joseph's RC School in Pomeroy. So we had from Queen Show to Calypso Show to Mass Band, etc. And then we actually came down to St. George to take part in the Junior Carnival as well. So we took part in the Calypso, and we also took part in Mass. So our individual costumes as well as classes had various bands that we came down to St. George to take part in the Children's Carnival Frolic. So that's where my involvement in Carnival actually started. What keeps me going is the love of the art form, the love of culture, the love of Grenada. I love to see the final product. You sit and you labor night after night making these costumes. And what really gives me the joy is to see people enjoy these costumes on the road, on the stage. That's what really keeps me going to do this thing after. It's a labor of love. Especially when you look at the traditional mass, those who are the practitioners in traditional mass. Lately I've been seeing that they are disgruntled in a lot of ways. It's hard to bring the older folks with the younger folks, to bridge that gap. Because we find that a lot of the people who know the craft, they're what we call them shut-ins. Some of them have passed on. And sometimes it's really hard to get the correct knowledge or the historical knowledge of the masquerade, of the mass itself. So that's a challenge in itself. So one of the things I believe that we have to do, and I'm glad that you're doing this now, is to bring out some of the older folks from the communities who know the mass so that they can document all of these things so that they can pass it on to the younger people. I love the traditional aspect of Carnival. So when we have our traditional mass festival in Victoria, I enjoy that. I believe that Carnival, first of all, is cultural. It's a celebration of life. It's revelry, but it's also deeply rooted in our ancestral traditions. And this is where we see our traditional mass coming in on Carnival Day. Our traditional aspect of Carnival is what is going to keep our Carnival going year after year. It's going to differentiate us from all the other carnivals. So this is the part that I really enjoy the most. I'm very passionate about the traditional aspect of our Carnival. I think we need more documentation and education for the different aspects of Carnival. We need more trained practitioners in the Carnival industry. So for example, we need to teach our Carnival arts to the children in our schools so that they can continue on the traditions of Carnival. If we do not teach them that, they would only practice and develop what they see. And if we do not teach them the right aspects of our Carnival, how it should be done, then we would erode the cultural aspect of it, the traditional aspects. Where do I see myself in the future? I see myself in a position where I can help in the implementation of policies to drive Grenada's culture forward, to make sure that our traditions remain alive. And the way that I see that this happening is to push this through our schools. So we need policy directives for our ministries of culture, our ministries of education, so we can work along together to push this in the schools to make sure that we can continue the traditions of our rich cultural heritage.
It's Behind the Mass on Power 95.